Okay, let's explain or with some real sentences. Okay, we're going to just use ordinary sentences. They're going to refer to real things in the world, and I'll show you how you go around the square. What Aristotle talked about. You know, with these four relations up here, right here. Opposite truth value, both can't be true, so at least one is false or both is false. Both can't be false, so at least one is true or both is true. Truth flows downward, falsity flows upward. You know, all that. Let's bear this out, okay? And we'll pick sentences that we know that they're true or false. So if we're looking at contradictories, right? You know, this part of the square, right? If you say all dogs are animals, is that true? Yes, that's true, right? Versus some dogs are not animals. Okay, if you're going to say all dogs are animals, and that's true, some dogs are not animals, has to be false according to Aristotle. And you can see, even in the real world, we don't even have to think conceptually, just some dogs are not animals, that's false. We know that. So if this is true, that's false. It illustrates that, right? So we got true, and this is false. What about this? No dogs are animals. That would be over here, the E, right? No dogs are animals is false. How about some dogs are animals? That's true. So you could pick other examples, but here's a good example that these sentences serve as good examples that if the A is true, O is false. A is false, O is true. E, if it's false, true. If it was true, false, and vice versa. So that's how that works, and it just maps out with English sentences with subjects and predicates, objects or entities that refer to real-world objects. Okay, let's do the contraries, okay? Remember, if here's the square, the contrary is this one, right? A, and you have the E, right? Okay. Now this is saying both can't be true. So I'm going to give you some examples, and notice you're never going to get two examples here where both are true. Alright? If you say all cats are animals, that's true. What if you say no cats are animals? Well, that's false. So you don't have a situation where both are true. If this is true, that's false. Well, why don't we start with this one being false? You know, all cats are dogs. That's false. No cats are dogs. That's true. Okay? Here we have another example. So far, we don't have a true, do we? Both can't be true. But I said at least one is false, or both could be false. Here, we have at least one is false, right? But when you start with one is false, you do not know what the other one is. It's undetermined. If they start with it being true, you know the other one is false, right? So, remember I said both can't be false? Well, here's an example. All animals are cats. False. No animals are cats. That's false as well. Okay, so if you just use these normal sentences, these relationships pan out. Okay, let's go to subcontraries. And this will be this part of the square, right? We've got the I and the O. And it says both can't be false. So if one is false, we know the other is going to be true, right? So if you start with some cats are dogs, false. That's false. You just know that. Some cats are not dogs. That's true. Here's an example where we don't have, with real-world objects, both coming up false. Let's just switch it around. What if we say some cats are animals? That's true. Versus some cats are not animals. It's false. See, you cannot get a situation where both are false, and these show you at least one of them could be true, or both could be true. Some animals are cats. Is that true? Yes. Some animals are not cats, like tigers. Is that true? So here it shows you, just using these normal sentences referring to real-world objects that exist, that everything he says about these relationships is panning out. Now let's go to the next one here. Subalteration. Go up a little. Oh, okay. Come down. All right. Remember, truth flows downward. If A is true, I is true. Falsity bubbles up from the I statement in the O. Okay, let's see if this pans out. All dogs are animals. You know, here we are, and we're on this part now. The A and the I and the E and the O, we're dealing with this situation here. All dogs are animals. Is that true? Then it's true that some dogs are animals. So truth up here, truth flows down. Okay, what about over here? No dogs are reptiles. That's true. Then at least one dog is not a reptile. That would be true as well. Truth is flowing down in these examples. That's what these are all about. Truth is flowing down, and here truth flows down. All right, let's try the other way. Some birds are dogs. At least one bird is a dog. Well, that's false, right? Then all birds are dogs. If you don't even have one bird that is a dog, false. Then all birds are dogs. You know, false. Then over here, there's at least one dog that's not an animal. False. Then if you say no dogs are animals, that's false too. So when you've got falsity, these sentences just tell you. You see, it's just, it all works. But let me show you now what happens when you try to go go in the way you're not supposed to. Let's assume, let's come down here, right here. Let's assume for the first thing that E is false. Okay, remember I told you you don't know what O is. O is undetermined. Well, let's go over here and I'm going to give you an example, okay? So I got a blank piece of paper, and here's the square of opposition. We'll make this a little longer here. You know, it's not, there's the A, the I, and here's the E. Now that doesn't look like a square, but I want to, and this is the O. I want to leave myself room over here. Let's say you say no horses are white. And we're going to call that false, right? And I'm maintaining with Aristotle that you don't know what O is. You don't know if some horses are not white. You don't know if that's true or false. It could be true or false, and you're going to go, well, why? Well, I'll show you. Let's go back up here. So let's say you just say something. You hear someone say, hey, did you know that there are no white horses? No horses are white. You hear that and you go, no horses are white. You're wrong. That's false. And the reason and there's two scenarios where it could be false, okay? Let's say you're a rancher and you have all the horses in the world at your worldwide ranch. If someone says no horses are white, you're going to go, that is false. To say no horses are white, look at my ranch that has all the horses in the world, and every single horse in this worldwide ranch is white. So let's say all horses on earth were white. That's why no horses are white. You'd walk up and go, what do you mean no horses are white? You're wrong. That's false, because every single horse, and I own all of them, they're all white. Now, if all horses were really white, which would be why this would be false, then what does that make O? When you say some horses are not white, if every single horse is white, if you say some horses are not white, that's going to be, let's see, I'm getting mixed up here myself. Okay, every single horse is white. If you have every single horse being white, then when you say some horses are not white, there we go, that's false, right? Because if every horse is white, you don't have a horse that's not white. So the O proposition is false. All right, so we know it can be false, but there's another scenario. What if someone says, no horses are white, and you walk up, you own a ranch, you have all the horses in the world, and you go, no horses are white, that's absolutely ridiculous. You're wrong. No horses are white is false. I have all the horses in the world, and look at in my corral. I have white horses, and then I have black horses too. So to say no horses are white is false. But if this is the situation, what happens with the O proposition? If you have white horses and black horses, if you say some horses are not white, that's true, right? This is why you don't know. If someone just says it's no horses are white is false, depending on the situation, it could be true or false, and that's why it's undetermined. Okay? So that is why you have that question mark, okay? So there's an example. How about I do one over here? Let's erase this page, clear the ink. Okay, let's start over. Let's skew it a little bit over here. I know, bad square. Okay. A, E, I, and O. And let's do another example. What if someone says this? The A proposition is all computers are junk. Okay? And you own all the computers in the world in your little computer store, and if someone says all computers are junk, you walk up and go, that's absolutely false. That isn't true. All computers are junk is an a-categorical proposition that's false, and the reason it's false, I own all the computers in the world, and every single one of them is quality. I'm putting Q's in here. Okay? So what does that make of the I proposition? The I proposition is some computers are junk. Okay? If all computers are junk is false, and every single computer in the world is quality, then to say some computers are junk, this is false, right? So there's a situation where it could be false. But let's say you hear someone say all computers are junk. You walk up and you go, that's absolutely false. I own all the computers in the world, and a lot are quality, even though some are junk. Okay? So if it's this situation, all computers are junk isn't true because you got some quality here, but some are junk. So if some are junk, when you say some computers are junk, that would be true. So here we have true or false. That's why if the A proposition is false, it is undetermined. Okay? You just don't know. So, I'm not going to go through all the things in the square with that, just to show you. If you wonder why falsity does not work going from A to I or E to O, that is why, okay? And from now on, what I want you to do is just trust your little cheat arrows, all these little things here that you write down. Both can't be false, but if this is true, you go ahead and write all these things in. True goes there. If this is false here, you don't know. If this is true here going up, you don't know. That'd be the same here. If it's false, it doesn't go down. If it's true, it doesn't go up. And then actually I'll give you some examples, but here with the contradictories, if this is true, that's false. If this is false, that's true, and you want to do that for here. You want to write these little arrows everywhere around, okay? Just to fill all this in, and then what you can do is take certain propositions and just go around the square, okay? I think we have one more example here. Okay, so I did the computers. I'm trying to show you that falsity doesn't flow down, and then truth going up. Why doesn't that work? If you have an I and an A and an E and an O, and these are true going up, it's indeterminate. This is true going up, it's undetermined, rather. So if you say some dogs are safe down here, there's at least one dog that's safe, true. It doesn't mean that all dogs are safe, right? You can play around with a little fluffer, just a little cute little dog, and then a Doberman's coming after you with frothy mouth who's got rabies, right? So that's why here, truth here doesn't mean truth going up. And if you say some dogs are not safe, true, it doesn't mean that all dogs, it doesn't mean that no dog is safe, right? It's true that there's at least one dog that's not safe. You can't get from that no dog is safe. I've got a dog at home, Baby, my boxer, she's very safe. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll stop here, and then I'm going to show you kind of how this works, okay, how we can go around the square, and I'm going to talk about this area and some examples in your book. So we'll go to traditional square of opposition. Part 3 will be the next video. Okay.